Hey guys, so just a quick tip about walk cycles in general. When a foot comes off the ground, so for example, let's take a look at this front right foot. A lot of animators I've noticed, they tend to just forget about the foot coming backwards over when it leaves the floor, right? So in theory, when we're walking, our feet actually, as we're lifting up and rotating out of that position, the foot is still traveling backwards. As you can see here, the curve doesn't just stop, it goes backwards a little bit. This is super important, and it's something that I've noticed with a lot of junior animators and those just learning and starting out with animation, is that they tend to forget about this part. And to be very specific, it is the moment when the foot, let's say, so the foot is going backwards here, right? And then when it reaches this area here, a lot of animators would just start to say, well, okay, we're done going backwards, let's go forwards again. And even if you smooth out this curve, so let's just make it a flat tangent or something. Let me just key this here. Yeah, so even if you just made it a flat tangent and you're trying to go back for the foot to go forward again, the foot just sticks in place. It gets to a point where it just sort of stays in one position and it slows down, and it's a piece. You can see there the foot is like lifting off the ground, and there's no real follow through on the animation. So it's really important to get into that habit of trying. You can see all the weight and everything is off as well. Getting into the habit of trying to think about taking that foot back. Let me just undo what I did. So let's lower that and have that rounded off position on the keyframe, so that the bending of the feet actually happens with the weight still on the other leg, you know, and then the foot is still traveling backwards in that position. And in a quadruped, it's the same principle. One of the most important controllers to be animating on the feet is the Z position. So that's the tip for exiting the foot off the ground. Tip number one. Tip number two is actually entering into that position. So again, a lot of animators have noticed their feet, when the foot comes in front of the contact position, they would just go straight from, they would just go straight from that keyframe down. You know, there wouldn't be an overshoot into it. And that is some sort of practice that I think makes a great animator when they learn about entering into that keyframe. This contact pose here, which is at frame 15 in our case, that you move into the frame, into the contact frame fluidly, like that on the Z curve itself. So you'd have you'd have this pose, the next pose, the next pose, and then contact, and all the while you've got this really nice arc. So there's an arc on the curve as it goes backwards like this, and then when it leaves the floor, it's also traveling on an arc like this. Okay, so that's a handy hint to have, and it applies to both the front and the back legs. So it's not just the front legs, and this also applies to human characters as well. So you can see as we're entering into the contact position at frame 11 in our case, the foot is going, the control, the curve itself is going up and down into the movement. Okay, so it's not doing anything like flattening itself off at any point. We're going up and then immediately into the translation backwards on the foot, bang. And then when we get to the bottom of the curve, we're also leaving the foot as it leaves the ground. Okay, so that's the handy hint about quadrupeds and the Z curve and translation of the feet. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.